Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So, yet more videos and more bling for the KYOSHO Optima Mid 87 60th Anniversary Edition. This time we have a racing part, and this is KYOP-018BK. So it's BK, I'm guessing it's because it's black. This is the rear wing mount, all in aluminium. So, let's bring in for a close-up look and see how we go fit in this. So first off, we'll have a look at what we get. Now these are all 2mm hexes. So you get 4 of these screws, but no instructions with it. So all in sort of one blister part of the pack together. You get your 2 side panels, the actual wing mount itself. You get 2 tiny little screws, and these are countersunk. Then in a separate bit you get these 2 screws that are countersunk and a bit longer, and just them 4. So let's bring in the RC and see how this thing all goes together. So first thing we're going to need to do is get the original wing mount off, and this is definitely one of the times when I'm glad I have the MIP ball drivers. Especially now we've got the rear anti-roll bar or sway bar kit fitted, and it just lets you get in at that little bit of an awkward angle, so we're not going to be damaging these screws. So should be able to pop these out, and we don't get any long screws with the actual racing part, so I would imagine we're going to be using these again. So that is our original wing mount removed. So let's see how we get the new one in place. So first off, we're going to need to build it up. So if we start off with one of these, should be able to get one of the screws in place. And because I ain't got the body finished or anything yet, I'm just going to go for the center position on the actual wing. And one thing I would do with these being into metal, I think once I've decided on the final positioning of this, I'd probably be tempted to thread lock these. Just so we don't get them falling off when we're trying to drive the RC around. And all the parts so far seem pretty good quality. There's no awkwardness in aligning the screw holes or anything. So basically that is our stock part compared to the racing part. So let's bring the RC back and see how it lines up. So one thing I've noticed is that these are both threaded. So when we go to put this back together, you're going to want to start your screws off. Just get them in good few threads first. Make sure they're not poking out through the back. Then you're going to want to line them up. So I'll get both these started, and at this point it's definitely worth having the MIP or some equivalent ball tips drivers, because you've got a hell of a lot of screwing to do to get these in. Now I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work as we tighten these up, because both sides are actually threaded, and with the racing parts there is no instructions whatsoever, but you only get 2 of the longer tapered screws and 2 of the shorter, so I'm guessing they expect you to use these. Now it does feel like they've tightened up well, but that's still moving even though they're fully tight. Yeah, there's still a little bit of movement, and I'm not really going to want to tighten these much more because it feels like they're going to strip. But yeah, not massively impressed with the way that fits. I mean, really, it's not going to cause any issues, it's not going to move, but I think for me, I might be tempted to drill out the threads on one side so it's holding it together as it used to, because there's no way of putting any sort of other type of screw in here. But it is extremely solid and it does fit. And the only thing I can imagine these are for is depending on what thickness of wing, or if you're using wing buttons. I'm guessing that's why they give us the two different types of screws. I'm just going to drop these in just so they don't get lost. But yeah, curious design that they've threaded both sides of these. I would have expected just one side to have the threads, and I would thread lock these as well. But if you wanted to be able to crunch it up really tight, then I would drill the threads out of the side, the left hand side, and then it's basically just pulling this to it rather than them screws tightening down and not really being able to pinch it up. And there's not much movement in it, but there is some. But it does look nice, it fits well, and we can tighten these up so there wouldn't be any play in the top, just a little bit of play in that. But yeah, curious design, but does look nice. So let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, the Racing Optima Mid rear wing mount. Curious that they've got threads in both sides, but that's the way they've decided to do it. You could easily drill them out if you just wanted to make it really tight. But yeah, big shout out to the guys at SC Models, where I fetched these from. Bit of a trek from my house, but well worth it. They've got a lot of Racing parts and various other bits in stock. And I've got a lot more bling to go on this Optima Mid. Hopefully make it a real special version. But as always, link for this will be in the description below. So thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.